see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Brian, and today is Tuesday, January 30th, 2024, and this is episode 622 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled Take Me Out to the Ballgame, and I'll be chatting about a trip to a baseball game a long, long time ago, possible Union Thug retaliation, and a truck update, and see what else we get into. I got a few more things on the list. First, let's check in with the coffee crew, see who's hanging out, grab a cup, and hang out for about an hour. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everyone doing? James in early writing a novel, but interesting enough, it ties into my childhood. He was talking about old baseball player Ryan Sandberg and how he was related and a little story about him. And yeah, I was a third baseman in high school, or not high school. I didn't make it to high school, but Grasshoppers, Little League, that at that time period of baseball, I played third base, and it was probably because I was big enough to throw from third to first when I got stuck over there. And then it stuck. So I appreciate Ryan Sandberg right from my time where I was liking baseball quite a bit, and got me to look into the Mets a little bit because I was curious. The Mets third baseman through the 80s, and I recalled Howard Johnson was one of them, and then he disappeared for a year, and I couldn't remember quite how it went down. I was like 8 years old, maybe 10, and yeah, they moved him to center field and then back to third. So, little tidbit for you when you're on Jeopardy and you get asked that question and you win a shitload of money. Remember who told you the answer to that. Good morning, Jim. How we doing? Rachel, Rewild Their Life. How we doing? Good morning. And glad you finally stopped coughing. And holy crap, the cat, your cat last night. Saw the post this morning in the Telegram group about Rachel's cat falling 2 stories and being fine, which isn't necessarily a huge thing. But yeah, I guess the cat's got spinal bifida and can't jump and all sorts of fun stuff, and it's fine. So hey, good on it. Good morning, K-Bonk. And Pip was in way early talking about Confucius saying man with 4 balls has hard time walking. Let's see. Jim says we went to Shea Stadium for Mets games when I was a kid. Tom Seaver, Willie Mays days. That must have been in your like 20s or 30s, right? Really? Right? Shea Stadium was there when you were a kid, Jim? Good morning, Chris Dixon. How we doing? Rewild Their Life says the cat's been playing us with her supposed disability. She fits right into society today, Rachel. She just fits right into society today. Jim, I figured you would be going to like Brooklyn Dodgers games, maybe even before that. The Polo Grounds? Is that what was there? Gingerbread Farm says, imagine being 10 and in like 87 and being asked what you did this weekend. Not much, just played baseball with Ryan Sandberg. Yeah. Yeah, well, I got a good story for you guys about a baseball game, but I'm gonna give you one a little quicker. That kind of leads into a different story. Gingerbread says, imagine being 10 and playing catch with Ryan Sandberg. How about I would have been probably 8 or 9. Yeah, it was after they won the World Series. And my dad was big into the Elks Club, fraternal order of Elks. And they used to go to, they were really good. They had like a competition thing that they did through the Elks Club, and their lodge was really good. And so they used to go to competitions, and they'd end up going to the national competition, basically a big convention, guys get together, compete, and compete and drink and hang out, brothership, fellowship, whatever. And so we used to go and stay with family members or whatever when they would go on the trip. Well, one year they took us and we went down to Atlanta. We took a trip down to Atlanta. I was super excited because we were going to go to Fulton County Stadium and see the Mets play the Braves. And at that time, the Mets Braves rivalry was through the roof. Big, huge rivalry. So I was excited about that. And so we get down to the hotel. We stayed, I don't know, Marriott downtown Atlanta. Super cool hotel, especially for an 8-year-old. And we get there. We spend the first night. And the next morning, my dad is like, hey, you'll never guess who I saw at the bar last night. I'm like a little kid. I'm like, oh, I don't know who. He goes, Dwight Gooden. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I was sitting next to this guy at the bar and I look over and he had a World Series ring on his finger. They had won the World Series the year or 2 years before. And they were staying at our hotel. I got to spend 3 days hanging out in the pool at the hotel with all my fucking heroes like Roger McDowell, Howard Johnson, Dwight Gooden, all of these guys just hung out at the pool all day playing with the kids. And I was like, holy shit, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So that was pretty cool when I was a kid. Yeah, almost like spending a Saturday afternoon playing baseball with Ryan Sandberg. Jim says before Cracker Jacks, Hunter, good morning, hanging out over on Twitch all by myself. Backwoods Butcher, good morning. K-Bong says, didn't major leaguers feel like a million miles away from central New York to you? It did for me. Yeah. Oh, for sure. New York City was a million miles away. And then you had Pittsburgh and Cleveland. They were all like relatively the same distance from where I was. So there was that. Nice. Jim says I was born in Long Island, about 20 minutes from Shea. Nice. Backwood says we're talking sports ball today. Yeah, a little bit. The lead story here I'm going to get into in just a second is a little more about me and a little less about sports. But yeah. Backwards. This does not surprise me after seeing the picture of you at 21. He says I got benched in T-ball. I figured they might have just made you the manager, the equipment manager. All right. What's in the cup? We got light Peruvian today. Not Hector, the light Colombian. We got the light Peruvian. I don't know if the light Peruvian has a name yet. If Scrambling, if you're out there, Pickle Pete, does the light Peruvian have a name, or does the coffee crew have to start working on that? Now you got to remember, it's got to be a term related to coffee. Hectare is a unit of land measurement, and I can't remember what the Costa Rican girl's name is yet, but yeah. Light Peruvian this week, guys. Chris Dixon says, I played ball for 13 years, and out in the prairies, you get to pretend meeting your heroes. Yeah, I hear you, man. Jim says Kyle kept bringing knives, and they'd leave them in the outfield. It was a safety issue. Paula pan flute. Jesus. Oh, anyway, if you guys are ready here, I'll share an experience with you. It was brought to my attention again yesterday. Brought to my attention yesterday after sending my wife a TikTok, and we had a good laugh, and she says, hey, you remember this? That was probably the funniest story, one of the funnier stories of your life. And I'm like, oh yeah, it was hilarious. And she's like, yeah, it was. I should tell it on my show tomorrow. So hopefully you guys find it as interesting as me. So we're going to take back probably, I would have to say 15 years ago ish, relatively shortly after Corey and I met. Yeah, we were still in our apartment. I was trying to start up my own business. I was serving I was serving legal papers for lawyers, process server, like Pineapple Express dude. No costumes, but lots of adventures. And recently the Minnesota Twins baseball club had just opened their new stadium. I had helped build the stadium with the company I'd worked for prior. We made a lot of the risers that the benches sat on. We made a lot of the architectural, decorative concrete facings and things for the stadium. And so I was kind of tied to it a little bit. I did really enjoy baseball at that time in my life, and I enjoyed taking in a game. And Corey didn't mind going to the game. Like, watching baseball on the TV was out, but going to a game, being outside, if it was nice weather, she could tolerate that. And so with the opening of the new stadium, I had someone tell me, hey, you buy a single ticket up in the upper deck or wherever you can get, because single tickets, the stadium was pretty much sold out except for single tickets, unless you bought them on like StubHub and paid a shitload of money. And so somebody was like, you buy a single ticket and then you walk around and you see all the views, and you really know what view is worth spending the money to go to the game. If you're going to buy a couple tickets or group, or you're going to go again. I was like, well, that's a perfect idea. That's a perfect idea. I run my own business. I'm my own boss. I can take a day off and go to a baseball game. So I found a day game. I don't even really understand, or I don't really remember who was playing, but it was in the first. I did. It was early in the season. It was early in the season, and it was a day game. I picked a day game because I didn't necessarily want to go down there by myself at night. I like to spend my evenings with Corey, but she was going to be at work. I picked a day game. I bought a ticket. Ticket was really actually a decent seat. And so the night before, Corey and I, at one point in our lives, used to really, really indulge in alcohol a lot, and me a lot. And since I didn't have to serve any papers the next day, I wasn't making any calls, I wasn't dropping into any law offices or anything like that. I decided I was going to really tie one on, because I had basically a vacation day to go to baseball game. Perfect. Why not be hungover to go sit outside in the sun and bake? So I especially decided to tie one on that night. I got pretty rip-roaring drunk, and the next morning I woke up and like my mouth was like cemented shut, like hungover, dehydrated, super dehydrated, can't stand to see the sun. And so I get myself around and I'm heading down to the baseball game. I stop at the gas station. I forgot my sunglasses. I had to buy like cheap sunglasses at the gas station. I bought a huge Gatorade. I drive down to the game and I make it down there. Probably could have got a DUI. Well, I definitely could have got a DUI on the way to the game at like noon. Pour over Pam, the light Peruvian. Whew. Anyway, I drink my Gatorade super fast. I drive down to the game. We were only like maybe 15 minutes where we live, 15, 20 minutes from the stadium when there wasn't any traffic. And so I got down there, I parked, I walked in the stadium, I found my seat and I sat down, and I was just like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through this game. Holy shit. And, running your own business and everything, it's nice because you get these days off. And so I said, I'll hang here in the seat. I'll just maybe feel better. I'll take a nap or something. So I'm sitting there watching the start to the game, or not the start to the game, but like the warm-ups on the field. Then I got there super early, and I'm sitting in my seat. I'm like, man, I'm hungry. nothing I could go for more than like a nice baseball stadium hot dog, a brat. Midwest, we got brats going like crazy out there. So I go up and I order a brat and a Coke. No beer. I decided I wasn't drinking. I probably, if I had tried to drink that day, I would have just thrown it right back up. So no drinking. I grab a brat. I get it all fixed up, and I go back to my seat. I sit down. I eat my brat, and the game's getting close to starting. The stands are filling up, and my row fills up, and the guy sits down next to me, and I'm talking to him, and it was a beautiful view in the stadium. Like, you could see the cityscape and all of this, and one of the buildings across the outfield, I was behind, like between home base and third base in the lower deck, and you could see out over the side of the stadium one of the buildings that one of the lawyers I served papers for was in that building. So I got talking to the guy next to me, and he's sitting on my right side. I don't know, is that reversed for you guys? Is that my left on the screen, or is that my right? They were sitting on my right side talking to him, and what do you do? He goes, oh, I'm an architect. And I said, oh, he's like, what do you do? I said, oh, I serve legal papers. Got talking about that a little bit. I said, I'm starting my own business. I got a few clients here and there, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I actually work for a law firm across the street. Oh, it is. So it does mirror. Interesting. Are you sure you could tell your left from your right, Kyle? So I tell him I serve papers for somebody in that building, and some of the other clients, he's like, oh man, I work for my office is in that building. That's cool. Blah, blah, blah. We talk. K-Bong says a brat with kraut, no kraut, only mustard. He says it's the mustard that matters to me. Yeah, mustard on a brat. Yeah, for sure. And so I have a conversation with the guy. The game starts. I talk to him for about the first 2 or 3 innings. And then I was like, I got to go walk around. A, I was hungover as a son of a bitch. And 2, my intention at being at the game was to see the view from all over the stadium. So I was going to go walk up to the upper deck on both sides of the field. I was going to walk out to the outfield. I was going to walk to the other side, like all the different areas, because it was one of those newer stadiums that had some of the weird kind of, it wasn't a traditional baseball stadium. If you've ever been there, you kind of know what I mean. There's like better views from different places than you would think. So I walk around the stadium. It is absolutely packed. Like, new stadium opening, beautiful day, sold out game. And when you're going through the corridors, I'm like shoulder to shoulder with people, kind of milling in and about. So for the next, 3 or 4 innings, I walk around the whole stadium. I get a bunch of good views. I come back to the seat that I had, my seat. I sat down. I talked to the guy for a little bit more. I talked to the other guy on the other side of me. And it comes to be about the 8th inning. And I had to piss finally. Like, I was so dehydrated from drinking the night before. I finally had to take a piss. K-Bong says that's a dome. Correct. Carrier was a bit smaller. That was the Metrodome. This was when they opened the actual outdoor baseball stadium in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. They used to play in the dome. So finally I had to take a piss. So dehydrated. I had like a Gatorade, a water, fucking Coke, another water. And finally I'm like, I got to take a piss. So I walked through, I wade my way through the crowd, and I walk into the men's room, and it's super busy. And I take a leak, and I turn around and I go over to the sink, washing my hands. I look up at the mirror, and no shit, I had mustard on my face from the corner of my mouth to my ear. Like, I bit the brat when I was eating it before the fucking game started, and the mustard shot like up my face and just dried like a streak across my face. I'm like, what the fuck? Like dried yellow stain. I had walked all over that stadium. I'd walked all over. People must have been looking at me. The dude that I talked to for like 3 innings was sitting on the side of me that the mustard was on my face. I was like, no, 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 no. So I scrubbed that shit off. You know, it still left a streak on it. Like, I'm like, man, I can't go back to my seat now, not with the mustard gone. Like, now he knows that I know it was there. And so I'm walking around and I'm listening to the announcements. I'm listening to the announcements in the stadium, and it was like the special ed appreciation day, like the special Olympics day. And I started looking around, and it was like the day that they brought all the Special Olympics kids to the baseball game. And I'm like, I wonder if that's why you didn't say anything. I wonder. I sat there and told this guy that I was running a business, and he might have thought that. He's just like, what the hell? How do you talk to somebody for that long and they don't tell you you got a bright yellow streak, like a 4-inch bright yellow streak on your face? That was horrible. It was horrible. I don't know how many thousands of people saw me that day. It was rough, guys. It was rough. It was rough. So if you ever see me eating something with mustard, would you please check my face? Tim says you are high functioning. Wait, you're not. Ginger says he's the partner at the office you serve for. No, he was an architect at on a different floor. Oh man, it was man, my family, Corey and her parents, they really like that story. I don't know what was wrong with me that I told them that, but once I did, it was all over. It was all over. If I even pick up the mustard bottle, it comes up. It comes up for sure. Anyway, those are my 2 baseball stories. I have a lot of baseball stories. I watched a lot of baseball as a kid, and went to a lot of games. Went to a lot of different stadiums across the country. I did. Wilder like that's if I got any mustard in my stocking. No, I've never received any mustard as a gift from them. Thanks. Now I will. What's on your Christmas list? French's yellow. What's that? I do have a birthday coming up. What's on your birthday list? French's yellow. What? I've been a mustard fan too my whole life. They used to make fun of me when I had one of my first jobs. One of my first jobs at the golf course. I did the front desk, and I used to ask for my hamburger, and I would ask for the yellow mustard instead of the Grey Poupon shit. I didn't like that when I was a kid. That spicy red mustard. Or spicy brown mustard, not red. That's ketchup. So I used to ask for the yellow mustard, and they used to bust my balls so much. I was like 14, 15 years old. And then they started calling me salad mustard because the actual jar, the French's bottle said classic yellow salad mustard. So because I was a dick and wanted the yellow mustard instead of the Grey Poupon or whatever they had, they used to then they'd call me salad mustard. Now Corey calls me mustard face. Backwoods says I'm classy. I'll send you some stone ground. I was contemplating names for the episode this morning, and I told Corey I was gonna do. Pardon me. Do you have any Grey Poupon? Kyle, you're probably not even old enough to remember those commercials, are you? Does everybody else remember the Grey Poupon commercials? Kyle's always asked. Gingerbread got it. Gingerbread gets it. Gingerbread gets it for sure. Oh man. Probably before his time. That's what I'm thinking. They were that was a short blast. I think it was only a couple of years, was it? That Grey Poupon did that, and then they realized it probably wasn't the best marketing campaign. Oh, all right. Well, Google it at some point. Google it at some point backwoods. Jim says the first one was a horse and buggy, not a Rolls Royce. What was that on the moving picture show at the Nickelodeon? Did you go down and watch it on the movie picture show? That was one of the ads in between the silent films. Was it Charlie Chaplin? Oh, no. Oh, all right, guys. Let's move on. But of course. Dixon says it was silent. It was a silent commercial too, so it lost all the effect. All it was written at the bottom. Excuse me, sir. K-Box says he remembers when there was only yellow. Okay, guys, what do you put on a hot dog? What condiments do you put on a traditional all beef frank? If you were, say, take me out to the ball game, or you were picking up a hot dog from a street cart in the city, what do you put on a hot dog? One thing. There's only one thing you put on that hot dog. Yes. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate everyone in this chat that doesn't destroy a hot dog with ketchup or any of that other nonsense. Put all you want on a hamburger. Do whatever you want on a hamburger. If you're going to eat a solid all beef hot dog, you better put mustard on it. K-Bong says yellow onion. Of course you would. The only time you have to put that shit on the other stuff on a hot dog is when it's a low quality, crappy tasting, no flavor hot dog. The all beef frank with mustard is the perfect taste combination. You add in the other stuff when you need a little more. I concede that. You're buying shitty hot dogs. Mustard and sauerkraut. Chili dogs still get mustard underneath. You put the mustard on the bun, put the hot dog in, and the chili on top. Oh man, what else do I have on the list today? Well. Yellow mustard's great on roast beef. What else would you put on roast beef? I guess horseradish. I do like mustard on a roast beef sandwich for sure. Controversial take. I like mustard on a turkey sandwich. Because this is a shitty hot dog. They're all shitty. Yeah, I mean, anybody into Ambassador hot dogs? You ever had Ambassador? Was that a local thing to the Midwest, to maybe Minnesota? Or was that a nationwide thing? I didn't really start having those until I moved to Minnesota. I don't know if it was because they were local or because I just had never found them in New York. But if you've ever had Ambassador hot dogs, there you go. You just take Ambassador, like, you know, the guy that's in the embassy. Gingerbread says yes, mustard on turkey, especially if it's dry white meat. Yes. Chris Dixon says dirty water weenies. The best was taking them to work with a loaf of bread. You just took the big, like, 50 pack of hot dogs and a loaf of bread and put them in your lunchbox. You heat them up in the microwave. Oh, Nathan's. Yeah. Serve the curve. Who knew? Who knew hot dogs was such a hot topic at 6:30 in the morning? What's that? Our dogs love hot dogs. We literally buy hot dogs for the dogs, and when we get them when they're on the grocery list, it says dog hot dogs. Red Hots. Yeah. Backwoods Butcher says in Key West there's a hot dog cart. I don't want to hear about you and your hot dogs in Key West. Dixon says tinfoil engine block hot dogs for work. Dude, when I was back in New York before I moved, so I would have been it was summer help for a while at this factory, and then after I decided to leave college, after they asked me not to come back anymore, I took a full-time job there, and we had this was so janky. It couldn't have been less OSHA approved if they came in and built it exactly the opposite of approved. It basically was a gas line, natural gas line that came out of the floor that used to go to some sort of burner or something. Well, they had cut off the flex line and put a valve on it, and then used like a piece of tubing to create like a wand. The wand went under. It was a corrugated steel pipe factory, like drainage pipe. And so they took like a 30 or 24 inch or a 30-inch piece of pipe and stood it on end. So it was like a cylinder, and cut a little hole and put the burner inside that. And then had a piece of flat steel on the top. And basically it was our table. It was our work table that we used to stage our little parts and things on when we were making connector bands that held the pipes together. Well, when you were hungry, all you did was clear the table off and light that gas burner, and that thing turned into the best fucking griddle you'd ever find. Whew, it was, you set your hand on it, you definitely knew it got hot. John's. Oh no. Snapper Jim's, Snappers, yeah. Kaufman's. I miss you guys talking all these hot dog places. Grilled Snapper, damn, might need to get to Wegmans. Wegmans is one place, and then Nick Tahoe's. I transitioned from the hot dog to the garbage plate for sure. That was my craving when I would need something like that. And then when I moved away, I ended up getting back into the Ambassadors for lunch. Publix, Wegmans. I think Wegmans ran its course though, from what I see. I remember when Wegmans opened, maybe not open, but got big and showed up in West. K-Bonk, you remember when they put the Wegmans in Corning on Market Street? Not on Market Street, on Bridge Street. That was a good day. I remember when we used to drive all the way to Wegmans to get groceries. It was like the special grocery trip to drive a half an hour to go to the grocery store. Backwoods is praying that when I come to visit, his dad comes to visit at the same time. Why? K-Box says garbage plate was a hangover cure. Garbage plate was a hangover preventer. I don't know how many times I was eating it when I had a hangover. It was usually before I had a hangover. K-Bog definitely understands the Wegmans. Did you ever visit the Bridge Street Ballet, K-Bog? only local know what I know I'm talking about there. Kyle's used to smaller hot dogs. Anyway, we can move, maybe start to move on here. Man, I talked about the union yesterday, the UPS union and all their shenanigans. That they weren't delivering any of my stuff. K-Bach says that's a throwback. The Bridge Street Ballet is definitely a throwback for sure. No one Google McHale's Corning, New York. Chris Dixon knows exactly what I'm talking about. The matinees were the best. Oh, the best is when you go to a small town adult entertainment establishment and you're sitting there and all of a sudden some chick you went to high school with comes out on stage and you're like, whoa. Not that that's happened more than one occasion. Oh man, the good old days. Um, Backwoods says it's like the Grand Canyon. You can't get the by looking at a picture, but you don't truly appreciate it until you see it. Talking about backwoods in the Grand Canyon. You guys ever hear Tom Arnold talking about Roseanne Barr? Tom Arnold has got to be one of the funniest dudes, like silently funny dudes that just in the background because his loud mouth Roseanne was always running her mouth. But I remember distinctly one time someone told Tom Arnold that Roseanne made fun of the size of his dick. It was like, oh yeah, Tom's got a really small penis. And he's like, well, Jesus, even a 747 looks like a Cessna when it's landing in the Grand Canyon. Jim says no touching, sir. That's extra. What if you like dated them in high school? Is that a free pass? Or is that a no special dance for you? Anyway, talked about the UPS and their union shenanigans yesterday. You know, pickle in a mayonnaise jar, hot dog down a hallway, just to stay on top. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for circling it back to topic of hot dogs and mustard. Oh no. Anyway, I think the union got mad at me. I think there's a mole. I think there is possibly a listener that works for UPS that sent the signal out. They sent the bat signal out. Maybe they have union thugs monitoring the airwaves for any mention of union activity and UPS in the same breath. I don't know. Maybe they got an AI bot trained to sniff out the dissenters. Not sure. Anyway, got notice that all my packages got delivered yesterday. I was waiting on like 6 items. 6 items. And so I was out doing my weekly stuff. Got moved to Monday this week because we didn't go last week with the flooding and everything. So I went down, I did all my weekly chores, and I hit the post office. And when I went to pick up my packages, smashed to shit. Every single one of my boxes was either smashed, partly open, damaged, crushed, or in some way not the way it should have been. Every single one. I think it was the union thugs. I think the union thugs have it out for me now. I don't know if I can be ordering anything through UPS anymore. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's I haven't opened the stuff. And that's another thing that I was thinking about yesterday with those boxes is since I started this influencer program and I want to make videos, all my Amazon stuff, it's really hard. It's like being a kid at Christmas time. You get presents and they put them under the fucking tree, and you got to sit there and look at them and wait to open them. Because I got home yesterday and all there's shit to do. I couldn't get my stuff out and video unboxing the shit and checking them out, stuff like that. It was horrible. I got all this cool stuff sitting in my truck, and I can't even open it till today because I wanted to get the video of it. Like, fuck. Jim says, new episode title: Hot Dogs, Strip Clubs, and UPS. Hot dogs. The strip club had to close because UPS failed to deliver the hot dogs. Rewilder Life says she got so many notifications. What? I mean, okay, Rachel, take a moment and start typing. You got all my notifications. So I usually post, I've been posting one video a day. I missed yesterday because I didn't preset it up and I wasn't feeling well. I actually have this weird, like, I don't know if it's a sinus thing going on up here, but I got this weird headache I've had right here for a couple days. I don't know. Maybe I should go to a doctor for that. But I didn't feel the best when I got home, so I didn't get the last video up, the next video up, but I released one every day last week. One a day, long format, one short format a day, every day, including Sunday. But then you got them all, you got all the notifications at once. She says, I was thinking how lazy I am and how busy Brian is. He was sitting at home trying to get rid of a headache, and I get a message from Rachel. I just got a ton of notifications from you. I'm like, what did I do? Pip says, sounds like almost every parts delivery I get, also from Union. Hunter says, am I going to put in the vid how hammered to crap and late your boxes were? Well, I took that video yesterday of the boxes and posted it in the Telegram group. And then I realized I probably shouldn't smash on the Union too hard with the video attached to it because I could see my address in one of them. And then I stopped. I stopped thinking that was too bad because it's not my address. It's the post office address. I don't know. But they might put my name on a list or something and piss on all my packages or do something stupid like that. Accidentally lose them. We don't know where your package is, sir. Chris Dixon says, I got one of my UPS packages yesterday, and it still says it's in Vancouver. Of course. Oh, yeah. So I don't know. It might have been Thug. Jesus, Pickle Pete, you're going to have to go back and listen to this one. We got a name for the light Peruvian, by the way. Gingerbread Farm says, what's your address? Homeless guy. Pickle Pete. We got a name for the Peruvian. Kyle, the Backwoods Butcher says we need to name the light Peruvian. We need to name it Pour Over Pam, the light Peruvian. Her parents were expats. I'm just gonna order boxes full of mustard. So when they smash them, it sprays all over them. It's kind of like what we did with the chickens when they were eating eggs. Do you guys know this trick? All right, here's your price of entry paid off. If it hasn't been so far, talking about mustard and hot dogs and strip clubs and all of the nonsense. Price of admission. You get egg eaters. Your chickens are eating your eggs. You will you can solve it, or at a minimum determine who the perpetrator is by taking an egg. You take a good egg, you poke a hole in the shell. You don't crack it open. You have to poke a hole in the shell, and you drain out the egg. You make the hole big enough that you can fit the tip of the mustard bottle in the hole, and you fill the egg shell with mustard. And then the next day you go down and you put the mustard egg in the nest that they lay in, because you can have 14 nesting boxes and they lay like 30 eggs in the same box. So you put that mustard egg or two in there. You wait a day, sure as shit, you'll go down there and there'll be a fucking chicken with a bright yellow face. Huh? Just like me. Corey says, just like me. And the thing is, if they taste it and they don't like it, they stop eating the eggs. If they taste it and they'll like it, we had one drop fucking dead. And I think it was because it ate too much mustard. So problem solved. Problem solved either way. Either way. K-Bong says mustard has other uses. It works as a coloring and a dye for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. $100. Everybody wants Corey to come and sit next to me for this show. She just changed her hours, guys. She's actually working right now. She's chimed in more while she's been working this morning. War paint. K-Bong says war paint. I'm going to start shipping mustard to Texas. Put on your war paint, boys. Peanut gallery. Dixon says the peanut gallery's on point this morning. Gingerbread, now that's not nice. I don't want to hurt or maim anyone. He says, unfortunately, you can't ship tannerite. Go ahead and smash that one. I mean, there is that. Jim says, for the latecomers, Brian will be known as salad mustard or mustard face or old yellow cheek, or you could guys call me Chief Yellow Cheek. Jesus. Oh, hey Jim, you coming to SRF this spring and or fall? Will they let you out of the retirement home to make another trip to Tennessee? Man. Oh, what else? A little update on the truck, if you can find it. Little update on the truck. Drove it the last few days. A couple of shorter. If I don't break a hip in the fall, he says if I don't break a hip, maybe fall. I was reading that as if I don't break a hip, if I maybe fall. Like do you plan your tumbles? Truck update. If you didn't hear last week, I had a few if we had an issue with the truck. I took off the one day and had a misfire. I had my little code reader, my scanner that I use to check the code, and it was a misfire in one of the cylinders, number 4 to be specific. Cleared it. It came back on that same trip. And then I cleared it out again. And 2 or 3 days, I just went short trips, a mile to two, down to the post office, to the gas station. And then I hadn't seen any issues, hadn't had any codes come back up again. And yesterday I took it on the big trip, the big trip down to Savannah, which is, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, one way. And nothing. So I'm thinking James and Pip were all over it, and maybe somebody else that chimed in. I'm thinking the nasty wet humidity and a short. So if it comes back, that's going to be a pain in the ass to find. Bagwood says you should repaint the truck yellow or just pinstripes like your face. Chris Dixon says drive over a mustard bottle and never wash it. Oh my God, I can't even. Maybe because it didn't happen to me, but saying driving over a mustard bottle and never wash it just made something pop into my head from about 25 years ago. Good morning, John Palmer. It has been an absolute shit show. If you want to giggle a little bit, you might want to listen to the whole thing back. One last little thing about mustard before I take off. Man, mustard has really been an integral part of my life. Huh. Anyway, I was in college, University at Buffalo, not of, SUNY State University of New York at Buffalo. Big school. Had a really cool dormitory that was modeled after a federal penitentiary. That was an interesting thing to find out. And the reason it was because it was built during the time of all the student protests all over the country at colleges, and they wanted to be able to contain them like prisoners. Yeah, fun fact. Fun fact. So I had a bunch of really cool roommates, friends there, and the second year, my sophomore year, we all got a room together. got a room together, and we lived together for the year, and we were moving in the second semester. And the way it was set up is our dorm room, our windows faced the entry, like there was an entry loop, like a U driveway, and then a parking lot. And from the parking lot, the sidewalk walked. And if you didn't turn to go into the door, if you walked straight down the sidewalk into the building, you would walk right under our room. But we were on the third floor. So we were sitting there, and we might have partaken in a little cereal or lettuce or salad or whatever you want to call it. We might have been a little not right in the head. And we see our fourth roommate coming up the sidewalk. Hadn't seen him in a month or so. We were really good friends. And so one of my other friends, and this is why I probably didn't remember it immediately, because I did neither of these activities, decided that he was going to grab the mustard bottle out of the mini fridge and throw it at him out the third story window. So he yells, "Hey, Alan!" Mustard bottle out the window. Shorts just lands a little short of him and literally explodes all over him. Yeah. Mustard and album covers, stomping, dorm fun. Ooh, album covers and stomping. Mustard plug. John Palmer says, by the way, I always go back and listen to the whole thing. Well, I mean, thank you. I appreciate that. Mustard plug. You guys ever seen Mustard Plug? The ska band. Do you know what ska is? They were a solid ska band. I got to see them a bunch of times. Mustard bombed. Yeah. Dixon says water balloons with mustard and mayo. God, you guys are messed up. We just threw the bottle. Backwards Butcher said, I had a friend that put sardines in someone's heating system in their truck. Oh man. Fish emulsion in the front vents where you have to take the whole dash off to get it apart. And that's even if you ever figure out where it is or what it is. There are, several car pranks that we could talk about, but I don't know if I want to incriminate myself. Turning someone's small car sideways in their parking spot when you park on both sides of it, when you get home from the bar. You don't like the person, they drive a little Easter egg car, and you and all your large friends decide to pick up her car and turn it sideways in the parking spot. What do you do? What do you do? What else? What else we got here? Kroger was rough yesterday, guys, and I don't want to sound the alarm. I don't want to sound the alarm yet, but when I went to Kroger yesterday, there wasn't shit on the shelves. I decided that I'm leaning towards the fact that it was Monday and they probably get their truck on Tuesday. I'm hoping that it's that way. But man, meat case was empty. A lot of the freezer sections were empty. And the biggest problem is when I went to buy tortillas, the tortillas were fucking gone. You ever go to the grocery store and there's like a million packages of tortillas, soft tortillas for burrito coverings? Guys, we're out of burrito coverings. Oh no. Out of burrito coverings. So there's like usually a shelf and they're just stacked. We get the big extra large ones, white flour tortillas. Those are the ones we like. Completely empty. The next shelf, the little tiny ones, completely empty. The corn tortillas, the crappy ones, gone. Wheat, low calorie, all gone. Corey pointed out that it's probably because we're in a war with Mexico and Texas now. Chris Dixon says enough drunk guys can't chew. Yeah. Oh, well, move a car? You think we were sober? John Palmer says everyone has been stuck at home and the trucks have not been running. Backwoods says those big stores get daily deliveries. I don't know about that one. It looked like they were putting stuff away, so they might have got their delivery. Do they get them on the weekend too? I don't know. Hopefully it's not this Mexican-American war, a Mexican-American-American war. Is it a Mexican-American-American war? Is that what we would call this? Or is this another American-American war? I saw the meme yesterday that said, if America saw what America was doing to America, or the United States saw what the United States was doing to the United States would invade the United States to stop the United States from doing what it was doing to the United States. UPS delivers groceries. Jesus, it's going to be 2 weeks before I can get a burrito cover. our Chris Dixon says our grocery truck comes Tuesday in case you want to do some fast and furious shit. I don't have anywhere to store all the excess burrito covers. But can you get me the route the truck takes and a team of guys with nitrous fueled rice burners so we can overtake the truck and steal the burrito covers? Jim says every time I ask, maybe it'll be on the truck that comes tomorrow or Tuesday. That's every time I ask about the dog food at Tractor Supply. Well, the truck comes Friday. I'm like, lady, it is Friday. Backwoods Butcher says New Hampshire sent troops down. We're on the right side. Dude, there is no right side. Gingerbread says old reference. Are you talking about burrito coverings? It's not old when you watch it at least once every other week, once a month. The mustard and the burrito cover. Kyle says Brian with a ski mask and a St. Bernard. Where's the fucking mustard? Give me the mustard. Nobody gets hurt. Fast and the Furious 1. Oh, God, yeah. I mean, I don't watch that one once every other week. Once a month. It usually takes about a year to get through the whole series. What are they up to? Like Fast and Furious 17. My grandma forgot to put it in park and went through the front of the butcher or the barber shop. Pip says I might know a guy who knows some guys. Hook me up with the cars and the speed. Oh, anyway, guys, we're at an hour. I got to wrap this up. This has been a lot of fun. I enjoy. Gingerbread says a St. Bernard. He brings a gang. I'm bringing all three. That's why we need all the cars. They don't have very big seats. Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle. Dixon says in today's climate, it's the fat and the furious. Okay, I'm done. That's enough. We will come back tomorrow. We'll talk about who knows what. I do have the Indiana Bell building on my list here that I was going to talk about today. We'll move that off to the tomorrow. John Palmer says, this is good thing. I use egg and pork rind crumbs mixed, pressed, and fried for tortillas. No carbs. Breaking Jim with the breaking news headline: Mustard boy robs another store taking only mustard. Update at 11. I bet methamphetamine would have to be involved in that. Anyway, I'm out of here. I got to get out of here. I appreciate all you guys listening, hanging out, and giving me a chuckle this morning. And if you enjoyed the show, it's always free to hit that like, share, and subscribe to return value for value to me. Please consider joining one of the YouTube membership tiers or listening on any value for value platform like Podverse, Wave Lake, or Fountain.fm. Be sure to share this with your grandma because today's episode was perfectly family friendly. Be sure to visit thelotsproject.com to find out more information and find all my links. Guys, it's Tuesday. It's still early this week. It is definitely still early this week. And have a good one. And be sure to keep the mustard off your face. Keep your face clean. Stock up on burrito coverings because this war in Texas might do us all in and not and